You are now entering Nick and Mel's hyperspace.
Hello, and my name is Nick, and my favorite announcement from Celebration this year was that Ryan Gosling is going to be in a Star Wars movie.
And I'm Carmelo, and my favorite announcement is that the next celebration is going to be in the United States, which means that Nick and I are going to be able to celebrate
Whoop,
celebration
whoop.
together. So the dynamic trio,
Yes,
Haley, Nick, and I, are going to go and enjoy celebration in 2027.
tear LA up. In our journeys through hyperspace, we examine anything and everything Star Wars from the point of view of two fly-flung fans, one young, one old, who came together through the will of the Force.
And in this episode, we're going to be talking about Star Wars Celebration Japan, which happened
Whoop, whoop.
in April of 2025 in Tokyo, in a
Yes,
gigantic convention center. I don't know that I've ever been to a larger convention center in my life. The one
nice.
in Chicago feels very small compared to this one.
Wow,
um,
okay.
it was huge. There were 9 gigantic halls. It
Dang.
was I mean, it would take me probably 20 minutes to walk through the 9 halls. It was huge. It was huge. I was
That
only
is
there
massive.
for, say that again?
So that's massive. I've never seen a venue that big.
It was the mother of all convention centers.
Yeah, they went all out.
um, I was only there on Friday, but in this episode, we're going to be talking about all the announcements at the convention. So most of the cosplay that I'll show will be from that one day, but we'll talk about the convention in general as well.
Yeah. So I'm glad you got to make the voyage from Taiwan to Japan. So that's exciting.
It
That
was
was
really nice that there was no jet lag.
yeah.
I was just an hour. Japan is an hour and ahead from Taiwan,
Okay.
so
That's not too bad.
it worked really well, and it was a 3-hour flight, so it was
Oh,
nothing.
that's nothing.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nothing.
So it
So
wasn't a bad trip at all then.
no, not at all, not at all.
Okay. Well, as we've done in the past, I've just kind of grilled you about Celebration because I've yet to go, but we'll talk about the next one towards the end. But so what was, you only went for a day, unlike in the past, you got to go, much longer. But what would you notice different about it being in Tokyo versus in the US here?
It was really nice having such a large Asian contingent in the convention. That was really quite wonderful. And when we see the cosplays, there were a lot of both Japanese inspired cosplays and also Japanese people cosplaying regular cosplays of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so that presence was really quite wonderful. While while I was in Taiwan, I became aware of a puppet theater in Malaysia that are recreating the story of the first movie with traditional puppetry, and
Cool.
they were invited to Star Wars Celebration to give a presentation there. I missed it because it was Saturday, but I got to talk to him and all of that, and it was just really really wonderful that because Celebration was in Japan, you could have artists from countries in Asia to come to Celebration and present on their take on Star Wars. And so it was one of the advantages of being in the other side of the world, that you get to see a lot of the sort of fan work and artist work that people in Asia, Japan, Japan, China, and Taiwan, Malaysia, Indonesia, that are of what they're doing, which was really exciting because you don't see that in Orlando.
No, no, definitely not.
And so that was a really fun element of the convention.
That's nice. When it was announced, I was disappointed because I wanted to go so badly. But I appreciate that Star Wars is a global phenomenon. It is very American. It's originated here in the States, but it's cool that the love gets to get spread all over the world, and people from other cultures get to experience Star Wars and get to celebrate
Right,
Star Wars. So
right.
very happy. Same with London when it was there a couple years ago. So
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. I'm glad. And for those of you listening, probably know Japanese films have heavily inspired Star Wars. So kind of back to its
Right.
roots there.
Yes, 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 yes. It was also very interesting. This time I met lots of people that were going to Celebration for the first time. and they came
Cool.
from the United States to Celebration for the first time.
Oh, interesting.
And they just sort of like combined it with a trip to Japan, and then
Yeah.
ending their trip or beginning their trip with Star Wars Celebration. So I was sort of happily surprised that even though it was so far away from many Americans, they sort of took advantage that it was here
Yeah.
to travel to Asia, to travel to Japan, and to explore the country. And then, as a little bonus, go to Star
Right.
Wars Celebration.
Celebrations. Cherry.
Yeah, it was really interesting because this one was only 3 days. Usually, Celebration is 4 days. When it was in Chicago, it was 5 days, which was very long.
That's a lot.
It was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. It was just
Goodness.
really, really long. But because it was so short, one of the differences, Nick, is that there wasn't as much space for as many panels. Like in the past, they've done anniversary panels, but there was no Revenge of the Sith anniversary panel. There was no Force Awakens 10th anniversary panel. And I think because they were only there for 3 days and there were so many things that they wanted to announce, that it was a little shorter in terms of all of the kinds of panels that fans are used to going when they go to Celebration. So that was slightly disappointing and different. That there was just not enough time for the kinds of panels that we're used to.
That's okay though. I mean,
Yep.
5 days sounds like a heck of a experience, but it sounds like a lot, honestly. And it was in your backyard.
Seen, yeah. Well, I mean, it was in my backyard, but it was really interesting because when I went there on Monday, everybody was exhausted.
I can imagine. Yeah.
But nobody wanted to leave. So everybody's like, we're all like roaming like zombies, sort of like, well, we don't have anything else to do, but we don't really want to go. It was just like really low key vibe of we're exhausted.
Right, we're just trying to get through this day.
We just want to be here one more day, just
right.
one more day.
That's cool. Well, did you meet any fun people? Any new connections you made? Okay. That's my favorite part of going to conventions.
It was interesting. I met lots of people who are actually podcasters. So that was really fun. I met 2 women, one from Idaho and another one, I think, from Seattle. Andorisms is, I think, the name of the Instagram account. And they do podcasts. And they actually began a podcast because of Andor, because of the show.
Oh, interesting.
And they do, I think they talk about Star Wars in general, but Andor was sort of the
inspiration for
tipping
them.
point for making the podcast. So that was really fun, meeting other people who are podcasters and sort of seeing what they do and all of that fun stuff. And of course, meeting cosplayers and asking them about what they're doing and how they're doing it and how they manage to ship all this stuff or take all this stuff in the plane. And
that's a good question.
That was really quite fun. I made lots of friends. Actually, I met cosplayers that I had been following for months and months and months on Instagram. And those were really, really wonderful meets because I knew who they were. There was one case in which I met this gay couple in the bus to the convention. And then later on, I realized, oh my God, I've been following this guy for over a year.
Oh, wow. Sometimes it's a very small world.
He sort of looked familiar when I met him, but I'm like, no, I've never met this guy. And then when I was looking at Instagram later, I sort of realized, oh shit, this guy is this guy. He has a beautiful Naboo officer cosplay. That is just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of costume.
It's awesome.
Just absolutely beautiful. And he actually was accepted into the cosplay competition. So he participated in the competition.
That's awesome.
And the voice actor for Hera,
Vanessa Marshall.
And I'm sorry?
Vanessa Marshall.
Vanessa Marshall.
Yes.
And the voice for Ahsoka, as she X-Teen, were the judges for the competition. So he got to meet them. Which was for him really exciting.
Yeah,
quite fun. So
that's awesome.
So I would say cosplayers and podcasters; those are the 2 things that I found the most interesting. And then, of course, when you stand in line, you make friends because the lines are so long.
You make friends with anybody, so
I do, but I especially make friends in I especially make friends in the lines. When we were entering the line on Friday, the line was just eternal.
I bet.
It took I think an hour and 45 minutes to enter the building.
Goodness gracious.
Because, when you arrive, the building is closed, and so it takes a while for them to,
And
and then you have
security,
to
I'm
go through
assuming.
security and all of that stuff. And so there were some really fun people. There were some really fun people that I got to chat with while I was there. So that
That's
was really,
cool.
really fun. That was really, really fun.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I wanted to ask, so is there anything that, comparing it to the past celebrations you've been, is there anything that they did better in Japan that they didn't do maybe in the States, or vice versa? Is there anything that you wish they would have done that they'd done previously?
It's interesting because different celebrations have different feels, but I managed to go to, I want to say, three different panels. And so it was really nice because they're really big panels. I went to the 20th anniversary of Lucasfilm Animation. And that was
Oh,
in the
yeah.
celebration stage, which is the really big stage. And, there are a lot of people that made reservations, and I didn't make those reservations. But they had satellite rooms where you could watch it on a big screen. And when you're in the big stage anyway, you can't see Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni is like 2 centimeters tall. All
Right.
you're seeing are the big screen, really,
Crowds of
unless you're
people. Yeah.
VIP and you're in the first three rows. So that worked really well. I really liked having the possibility of watching some of the main panels without having to be at the celebration stage and being at a satellite hall where you could watch it. And that was really, really fun. And so because I got to go to the 20th anniversary animation panel, I got to see one of the episodes from Tales of the Underworld. And this was the first time that Carmelo sobbed inconsolably for the
Oh,
first
wow.
5 minutes of that episode. At the beginning of that episode that they showed us, I was like going, like, people were looking at me sort of like, there's something wrong with this guy. There was nothing wrong with this guy. This guy was very happy at seeing what he got to see. It was really good, and the animation was tweaked slightly, and it has
Okay.
almost an earthy feel to it. Like
Hmm.
there was a dustiness to it. I don't know how to describe it. It was really quite wonderful. It was really quite wonderful. You still have the feel of the Tails animation,
Right.
but there's something they did
Well,
something. They did something.
well,
I'm
different.
curious to see it again next Sunday, right? Like, when it comes out
Yeah, next Sunday. Yeah.
on the 4th of
May
Star
4th.
Wars Day.
Yeah.
And so that I'm curious to see it again, to see that look. Um, but that was a treat, absolute treat, to see
Hmm.
an entire short episode from Tales of the Underworld. And I'm not giving any spoilers. I haven't even talked to Nick about it.
No,
I'm
he's not.
that
No.
good. I'm that good.
Lips are sealed. That's cool.
But it was a marvelous episode. Marvelous episode.
I'll be
Yeah.
excited to check it out.
Yeah. It's I think you will, based on some conversations that we've had in the last 2 weeks, I think you will enjoy it very, very much.
Cool.
Very, very
I
much.
can't wait for
Yeah.
that. Very
So that was
nice.
fun. That was fun. I went to the literature panel, the fiction panel,
Okay.
and it was interesting how there were basically no news. It was mostly talking about the writers that could make it to Japan. Um, so Lisa Wong was there, and oh my God, I'm blanking on all the names. Some of the comic writers were there. Charles Soule was not there. Claudia Gray was not there. P.K. Johnson was not there. There were sort of people that had published recently. Adam Christopher was there.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. And so it was interesting sort of hearing them, but it was not a panel of news. It was really a panel of sort of getting to see a
Catching up.
few images of comics that are coming up, seeing some new covers, which were really fun, and then talking about the books that have been recently published, and talking a little bit about upcoming books that we already knew were coming out. But there were
Gotcha.
no big news in fiction or
Okay.
comics. Yeah. As far as I can remember.
Yeah. Oh, if there was a big news, I probably would have texted you about it by now. So
And this is really interesting, audience. It was really interesting how Nick would find out about things before I
yes,
did.
I forgot about that.
So
He was there.
he's telling me about Ryan Gosling, and I'm like, what is he talking about? Why is he talking about God? Because I wasn't in the Mandalorian panels where they announced this, and so I just didn't know. I was running around looking at cosplay and meeting
I
people and
was
chatting and looking at beautiful things. And Nick on the other side of the planet is completely aware of what's happening, and Carmelo, who is at Celebration, is completely clueless about it.
so to give a little context for us here. I'm in the East Coast time, and it was live streamed on YouTube for the rest of the world. So it was probably I don't know what time it would have been in Tokyo for you guys, but it's probably like 10:30 at night for us p.m. So I'm laying down getting ready for bed. And it's a Thursday night here, and it was I guess Friday for you guys, Friday morning.
Right,
So I have
right.
work the next day, so I'm just laying in bed trying to see what's going on. I didn't know if anything big was going to happen. I thought maybe they'll wait till Saturday, but no, there was a lot of big news on that first day, and
Oh yeah,
yeah,
oh
I
yeah.
had texted your opinion. You had no idea what I was talking about, so I sent you the article, and I thought that was very funny how I was giving you the inside scoop, and I'm laying in bed.
You're in bed in Georgia, and you know more than I do, and I'm in Tokyo at
You're in the same building.
Celebration, and I had no idea. I had
Yeah,
no
I
idea.
thought that was funny.
Oh, it was 10 a.m. That panel started at 10 a.m.
Okay, so
So
about
it was
12-hour
probably
difference.
10 or 11 when you were there. And so there were all of these news that they kept announcing them, but because I wasn't in the panel, I just didn't know they were
That
happening.
that's something I want to ask because I've never been to Celebration. I know you've been multiple times. When something big is announced, do you often hear about it, or do people talk about it, or is it just kind of something you find out later? Like in this instance,
Eventually, I mean, if the people in the panel know about it, of course, but it sort of takes a little bit for them to get out of the panel, start spreading the word.
makes sense.
Because the Twin Sun stage is in the open part of the convention, and so you could just stand and watch any interview that happens in there. But the
Mm,
Celebration stage and the Galaxy stage are closed halls, and so the people that are in there know the information, but it's not until those people leave the room and start talking to other people that you start hearing about what happened. Now,
gotcha.
there are people, I did this at Celebration Anaheim. There were some people that would just sit and watch on YouTube the panel. And so that would be another way of finding out the information. But of course, if you're watching it on YouTube, if they're showing a trailer or images, you don't get to see those
Right.
on YouTube because they sort of limit those to the people who are at Celebration.
Right.
Like if you see the live recording of the panel on animation, you will see everything they talked about, but you will not see the episode and you will not see the images that we saw. And so that's the only difference. That's the only difference. But they don't announce things to the whole
While you're there,
convention.
like
No, it's
right.
all by word of mouth. Really all
Okay,
by word of mouth.
interesting.
And it's really interesting because the Twin Sun stage looks so different on the camera because it's very high. And so every time I was there, it's sort of like, is that really the Twin Sun stage? It just looks really different because it's very high, very, very high. I saw Pedro Pascal from about 25 feet away, and
Oh my goodness,
he's the most
handsome as
elegant
ever.
man ever. Oh my God. Even when he's goofy,
It's like
he's wonderful and handsome. So, but that's sort of the only
he's
celebrity
like
that I
one
saw
of the
because I
most
didn't go
famous
to the
people in the
big
world right now.
panels. I'm sorry?
I say he's like the most famous person in the world right now. Like he's everywhere.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's all
No,
over the place.
he is
That's
everywhere. He's
cool.
going to be in Fantastic Four. He was in that
He's
Apple
in the new Last of
ad.
Us show.
He's in The Last of
Yeah,
Us right now. He just finished
yeah, he's
doing
all
the
over the place.
Mandalorian movie. No, he's doing a million things. He's going to be in a rom-com this summer.
Yeah,
So he's everywhere. He's
yeah, I
everywhere.
saw that. It looked interesting actually. So
I haven't seen the
yeah,
trailers yet, but
that's awesome.
I just saw about it.
That's
So
awesome.
shall we talk about the announcements?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. Well, where do we
Because
start?
I don't know. Shall we start with Darth Maul?
Sure, we can start with Darth Maul. Let me preface this because that didn't sound very positive. I am excited for it. I do love Darth Maul. I think he's a very interesting character. I was not exactly thrilled when he got a show. I was hoping, maybe expecting something a little different. I'm gonna watch it. Like I kind
Of
of did
course.
this begrudgingly with the Bad Batch
Uh huh.
when they announced it. I was kind of why are we doing this?
Oh yeah. Me too.
and then it ended up being one of my favorite things ever. So maybe this will be the same thing. I trust Lucasfilm Animation. They've put out great shows. So we'll see. I'm just surprised that Maul got his own show.
I am excited about it because when they cut short Solo, and they decided not to make more movies about it, we got that little cameo from Maul at the very end of the movie, but we never got any information on it. And we got a little bit more information when they created the last season of Clone Wars. So we've been getting hints about this moment in his life and this moment in the galaxy. So I'm curious to see more. Um, I was hoping for a Path series. I really wanted a Path series. Because I'm really interested in that story. And maybe we'll get it in the future. Who knows? But it was just that since that showed up as a little quick reference in the show Kenobi, I have been scratching the ground looking for clues. I want to know more and more and more and more about it.
Yeah.
And so I was disappointed that it wasn't that, but I'm curious.
I'm excited.
Curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what they do.
A Darth Maul underworld kind of.
Yeah, I mean, with a comic or a novel, it's easy to put a villain as like the front and center character, but with a show, I'm a little curious how they're going to handle that. They've never really done that before, so
True.
we'll see. I don't
We'll
know.
see how that. Yeah, we'll see how that works. How do
Yeah,
you feel about Star Wars Starfighter?
very excited for a couple
Okay,
reasons. Like Sean Levy, great director. I love Ryan Gosling. I think he's a brilliant actor. Um, you know, the premise sounds interesting. I'm not like blown away by it, but I'm curious. They're hinting at a lot of fun stuff, a lot of new stuff.
right.
They talked about new ship designs that takes place apparently 5 years after the Rise of Skywalker, so that'll be fun.
Correct. Yes.
Um, and I actually, a fun little tidbit, I have a coworker. She's not a Star Wars person at all. Her husband is. So, a coworker of mine, I had let her know. I said, Ryan Gosling's going to be in a Star Wars movie, and she said, I might watch that one. She said, I don't watch. She said, I don't really care for Star Wars. My husband watches all the Star Wars stuff. I don't really care for it. But she said, I might watch that one. I'll go to the theater to see that one because I think Ryan Gosling's attractive.
Interesting.
My thing is, and when she said that, it kind of made me start thinking, I think this is good for Star Wars, and I think it's going to be exciting because we never really have gotten a big name actor like him to be in a Star Wars thing. A lot of actors become like household names after they've been in Star Wars for a while or start out in Star Wars.
Right.
Oscar Isaac and Harrison Ford. I mean, a lot of actors over the years.
Right.
So this would be cool to get somebody, I guess, top of their game into Star Wars. And like I said, my coworker, I mean, I'm sure she's not the only one. I'm sure there's a lot of people that they know who Ryan Gosling is and they say he's the main character of a Star Wars movie. They're like, sure, let's check it out. And maybe that creates a whole new generation or a whole new plethora of fans. So that's why I'm excited about it.
I like that. I like that idea. As I have mentioned in other podcasts before, I don't go to Star Wars for the wars part. And so a whole movie about a starfighter, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
But I mean, I will of course see it, but it's not something that is tickling my Star Wars bone in a very direct way. I'm excited to have something new. I'm excited to have something post Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, same here.
That I'm very excited about because I think one of the disappointing things about Celebration was how little there was on the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
The cosplayers did cosplay lots of sequel trilogy things, but the show itself, the convention itself, didn't really talk very much about the sequel trilogy. And especially with the 10th anniversary of Force Awakens this year, I was just assuming that there will be a little bit more of a presence. But I think also the fact that it is all the way in Japan, not everybody can get all the way there. It might be a little different when we do Celebration in Los Angeles, where a lot of people have a lot more access to be there because all these are working actors. They're not they're not at home, not knowing what to do. So that's a tricky part. I was really
Right.
excited about getting more detail about Ahsoka
What?
season 2. Sort of all the characters being a little more active and all of that stuff. It feels like it's going to be a different season from season 1. Season
Yeah.
1 felt very much like expository. It's like this is the introduction to a story rather
Right.
than this is the beginning
The
of a
story.
story. It's like this is the preface to a story. So I'm really curious to see what they do. And they apparently started filming this past week. So they're already in production. So I'm excited
Yeah,
about
that'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
They I guess a big thing from that is they did recast Balin Skull
Yes. Yes.
since Ray Stevenson's no longer with us. How did you? I don't know the actor. But are you okay with that?
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I'm not
Yeah.
jumping up and down, but I'm
Me
fine
too.
with it. It's a really important character in that story.
Right.
So
Right. It seems
I'm
to
really
be.
glad that they're not just cutting him off the story, but that they are continuing the story with a different actor. And I'm totally
Yeah. Yeah.
totally.
Same here.
So
Same here.
we'll see what
Apparently,
happens.
the new actor got the blessing from Ray Stevenson's family, so that's nice. I
Oh,
mean, they
that's
didn't have
nice.
to, obviously.
Oh, that's
They
nice.
didn't have to,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
obviously, but I think that's just nice that they did.
It's a nice
Uh,
gesture.
yeah, it's very nice touching. So,
Oh, that's
yeah, I'm
cool.
excited. Start filming, so probably maybe next year, but we'll see. I don't know.
Well, the
You know,
Ahsoka show started filming last week.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying maybe it'll release next year. Maybe I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, did they say a date? I don't know that they said a
They didn't
date.
give a date. No, they didn't give a
No,
date.
I don't think that they said
But
a
I'm
date.
guessing at least a year, maybe 2.
At
But I was
least,
hoping
at least, yeah.
at least a year. Yeah, maybe
Post
maybe the
production
end of
takes
26.
maybe the end
Yeah,
of 26, but
like a
at least
Christmas. So
we'll have Mando and Grogu in May,
true, very true,
so
very true.
that will be fun. That will be
Yeah,
fun.
I was trying to think of. Yeah, they didn't really announce anything. They kind of, from what I read, they had talked about the previous celebration where they announced a bunch of things that those are apparently still happening. They haven't really said.
As far as we know,
I don't. As far as we know, they at least mentioned them. They didn't ignore them. So
right,
we'll see. We'll see.
right,
They
right, right,
they
right.
acknowledge
They're
them.
still in the works.
If there's stuff they've announced and they've not acknowledged in years, so we can obviously assume
Mm-hmm.
those are probably gone. But yeah, so we'll see. I'm just
Yep.
curious what will. I will be excited to see Star Wars in theaters again. That's not a re-release. I would like to see a new movie or
Yes,
something.
I completely agree.
It's
I
fun seeing all
completely
these
agree.
anniversaries, but
I
seeing
am ready.
a new product.
I am ready for a new movie on a big screen.
Yeah, same here.
And that's happening in about a year, in 13
Right.
months.
That's
So
right.
that's
That's
really
right.
exciting. I am looking at the time. Should we switch to slideshows?
Yes, let's show off the awesome cosplay that you ran into.
Okay. There was so much.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I just gave you a sample.
Yes. Amazing. Hold on. It's being slow. Okay. All right. So, Carmelo,
Cool. My goodness.
look at you
Carmelo
looking
superhero.
all
I
spiff.
didn't
Yes, your
notice.
Superman pose.
I basically asked somebody to take pictures of me, and they took like 17 pictures of me.
That's awesome.
And I
I
was sort of
love it.
like, why was I thinking? Why did I post like that? I have no idea
I
what I was
mean,
doing there.
you look
But
very
it
happy
looks
and
cool.
excited.
It looks
Yeah,
cool.
you
I
look
have
great.
my G.I. Joe Jedi T-shirt that my
Yeah,
favorite Star Wars T-shirt. So
yeah, you look wonderful.
it worked really well. And that was the day before celebration. They didn't mail the badges.
Mm,
You needed to pick up the badges. And
okay.
so from Tuesday through Thursday, one of the halls was open for you to pick up your badges.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I was glad that was the way they did it because I was living in Taiwan and I had no idea if those badges were going to get to my house or not. So I'm really glad that I didn't have to worry about that part and I could just go to the convention, pick up the badges, and just go from there.
That's
So
convenient.
that was really, really fun. All right.
Well, before we start, for our audio listeners, obviously you're not going to see anything,
Oh
So
yes.
please go to YouTube and if you want to see these lovely pictures. I worked hard on the little slideshow. I'm just kidding, guys. I didn't. But I put a little presentation together, and hopefully it looks wonderful.
Well, I am very grateful that you did the slideshow while I was doing a million things in Taiwan. So I
Of
really
course,
appreciate your putting it together.
I
That's
don't
great.
mind at all.
It's
But
great.
shall we begin?
Let's do it.
All right. First up, look at that
So it
Neil.
was, yeah, that Neil was
That's
just wonderful, and it was really, he was great. He was great, and he was with his whole family. I think he was a young man,
okay.
um, and it was the only Skeleton Crew cosplay I saw on Friday,
Oh,
and so
interesting.
I just needed a picture with him. He was just delightful, and so excited that I wanted to take a picture with him. And
Hmm.
it just looked wonderful.
Now that I think of it, out of all the Skeleton Crew characters, he would be the one that stood out the most. All the other characters just kind of wore, you know,
Yep.
clothing that
Yep,
was
they're
not
just
really,
people. Right.
yeah, well,
You're
nothing that
right.
stood out really. So,
You're
but
right.
he looks. I mean, the mask looks great.
Oh, the mask's wonderful.
It
The
looks
mask
amazing.
looked wonderful, and the ears actually flapped a lot.
Oh, really?
So yeah. It was not a hard plastic. It was not fabric, but it sort of felt like it moved. It really
Like
moved.
softer. Okay.
It was really great. It was really great.
Cool.
And then on the right, boy, that animated
I love
3D
those.
animation
I
Kenobi is
love those.
just wonderful.
I've seen
Absolutely
quite a few of
wonderful.
those out of other conventions, and I love when they do that. That's so funny.
It's just great. It's just great. Um, and she just looks wonderful. It's a great
Yes.
costume
Oh, yes. Very beautiful.
for Satine. And
Yeah,
it was just
very
great.
lovely.
They were just delightful. I think they were from Britain. I
Oh,
talked to
cool. Okay.
almost everybody that I took pictures of. Not everybody, but
Most of them.
in most cases I did.
Oh, wonderful. Look at the
Well,
Greedo.
the mother and daughter on the left doing Ray and BB-8,
That's
they
cute.
were just thrilled.
That's cute. I
And the
love the
little
yellow
girl
saber.
was so excited, just so excited.
I
And
love
they
the
were
yellow
from
saber.
Japan.
That's so cool.
The lightsaber is beautiful,
Yeah,
yes.
it looks wonderful.
And it was their first time in Celebration. And they
Oh,
spoke very
nice.
little English, but we managed to communicate quite well.
Oh, cool.
And the little girl was super excited to be at Celebration.
She looks very
She was
excited,
just,
and her dress is so
yeah,
cute. I love that.
it's just wonderful. It's just really wonderful.
Yes.
We couldn't communicate enough I didn't know if they made the costume or if they bought it. We just we couldn't communicate that well.
Right.
But we could communicate through Star Wars. We could talk about the costume.
Well, that's beauty of Star Wars there.
Yes. And on the right is it's a married couple, and they were just so much fun.
Her makeup or the markings on her face look so good. Like
Are
she did really
beautiful.
wonderful. Wow, that's really awesome.
I told her that. It was just
She did that
really.
herself, or is it like
I don't remember if we talked about them.
either way? They look incredible.
They look great. There were tons of Ahsokas in this celebration. Tons of Ahsokas
That's awesome.
of all ages, little girls to older women
That's beautiful.
and boys and boys.
Yes, I really.
So it was just great. It was really great.
Oh,
I think they were from Philly. I should have taken notes of all these things, but I think they're from the East
it's
Coast.
okay. That's okay. And as Greedo is one of my favorite minor characters in Star Wars. He's just look at him. I mean, he's just wonderful.
I know.
Love Greedo.
I love the beer belly.
Yes. Ooh. Here we
Rex.
go.
There were not very many Rexes, but there were
Interesting.
several. No, there were several Kanans. Several.
Hmm.
It was really interesting. That's the only Rex I saw on Friday. You can see in the background there's a Boba Fett walking by. I didn't see that I didn't see that until I were looking at the pictures like, oh, there's a Boba Fett in the background. rolling around, just looking around, looking for the next photo up. But that Rex was really good. It was really quite good. And the Canaan is from Brazil, and he came from Brazil to Celebration Japan. So I got to practice my Portuguese a little bit. He was delightful, and that the mask with the painting was just great. All right, the woman on the left. The woman on the left is called Mama Vader, and you can follow her on Instagram. And Mama Vader, and she designed the fabric. And you can see on the left the close up of the different characters with Jar Jar and the Jawa and Chewie and Padme. Then she made the kimonos for her whole family. And so they walked around all together and they just kept showing off their amazing kimonos and fabric that Mama Vader made for the whole family. Yeah, no. She designed the fabric and then she ordered it to a fabric company. And then out of the fabric, she made the 4 kimonos. A kimono. Those are kimonos. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they're kimonos. And they were delightful. They were so excited that I wanted a picture, and they were so excited that I was excited about their fabric. And she gave me some swag, and she gave me her little Instagram card so I could follow her on Instagram. It's really interesting in Asia, at least as I have seen. It's very typical of my students here in Taiwan. Vader is spelled VE, and I think that's the way she spells it on Instagram. So it's Mama Vader, Veder. And they were fun. They were lots of fun. Mm-hmm. So the one on the left is a Japanese young man doing Ezra. Um, he was lots of fun. He was very good at posing and all of that. And the person on the he does. He totally does. Totally does. And the person on the right, it's a very old woman, a very short, very old woman. And so what you're seeing is her looking down at the floor. The Yoda mask is on top of her head. And so she would lean forward and give you the top of her head. And that's where the face of Yoda is. So when she's walking around, she had Yoda like back here. And then every time she posed, she would spread her legs, put the stick in the middle, and then lean forward and show you the top of her head, which was the face of Yoda. It was perfect. It was just absolutely perfect. Yeah. It was actually one of the pictures that made it into Tokyo News because it showed up online in like newspapers and magazines and things like that. And she was, oh my God, at least in her 70s. She had a little thing for her to sit, like when she was tired. She had like a little folding chair, like a little folding bank, and so she would just sit on it. Well, I saw her several times. She was delightful. Indeed. She was probably the oldest. Yeah, she's probably the oldest person I saw there. Uh huh. All right. Twi'leks and more Ezras. Yes, Ezra. The Rebels is big. Rebels in this convention was very big. Very, very big. Everybody, the Kanan was from Brazil. That Ezra was from Japan. This guy was from Thailand. And so it's just a general. There was a general love for rebels. And so there's a lot. Yeah. And that Twi'lek on the left, she's wonderful. She's American. I think an African American from LA, maybe. I don't remember where she was from. And she was very excited. She said, like, I have enough with the makeup and the head. I'm just going to use one of my dresses. So the costume is just a dress that she wears all the time. And she just worked on, purple tights, makeup on her arms and chest, and then the makeup on her face, and then the lekus of the Twi'leks. Oh, it takes forever. It takes forever. Yeah. And Friday was not very hot. Saturday was a very hot day, but Friday was not super hot. So people wearing makeup were doing okay. We're doing okay. So I don't know. We don't have to go back to it, but you did see a Bad Batch helmet right behind Ezra. Yeah. So the couple on the left are a British couple doing Leia and Kenobi from the very first movie. And the photograph on the right is a cosplay group from Italy. The four of them were doing Ferrix. And then the workers for Ferrix. And the guy, the sort of blondish guy to the right, the second one from the right, was doing a shore trooper of some kind because of the helmet on the floor. They were exhausted. This was towards the end of Friday, and they were just resting there. And I told them, "Can I take a picture?" And they proceeded to stand up, and I'm like, "Don't! I want tired workers. Just stay right there, relax. I'll take pictures of you." And it worked so well with all of those, all that stuff behind them. It had just sort of like a lived-in feel to it. The guy in the middle with the yellow shirt, he's wearing a Batu hat. I actually bought that hat at Disney this past fall. So he's using like stuff that you could buy at stores at Disney for the costume. But they were all from Italy. They were all from Italy. Yeah. It was one of my favorite sort of ensemble cosplays on Friday. Yeah. Those are fun. Those are really fun. Oh, fun. Oh, fun. The Japanese officer in sort of a business suit. Um, there's a term in Japanese. I'm terrible at Japanese. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think it's something like "sarariman," and that means a businessman. Literally salaryman, but just pronounced in Japanese, "sarariman." And so he told me that he is an imperial salaryman with the suit and then the imperial hat and then the rank and all of that. He was really funny. He sort of had oh, how do I describe him? He was very extrovert and very excited and very energetic. He was really, really fun, but very much. We chatted for quite a bit. His English was very good, very, very good, and he's a businessman. He's a salesman in Japan, so he just did himself, but the imperial version. And then on the right, I don't remember his name from Mandalorian, and so he was one of the few people from the first season of Mandalorian that I saw. There were lots of Mando and Grogu, lots of Mando and Grogu, just everywhere, absolutely everywhere. But it was fun seeing him because he was the only cosplay that I saw him doing, Mr. Blueface. I can't remember his name. It doesn't matter. The fans are going to stop following us on YouTube now. Too bad for them. Indeed, indeed. Yes, indeed. Um, yeah. So Thrawn on the right, a young Thrawn on the right, from the sort of prequel trilogy that Zahn published recently, and um, Admiral uh, Arilana, I think is her name. Oh God, yeah, people are going to really, really fire me. She was great. She was Eastern European, Eastern European, I think, based in Hungary, and she's in first. And I showed her my picture of Thrawn, and she's like, "Oh no, you need to be in 500 first. That is an amazing costume." And I'm like, "Well, no, because I have a zipper in the middle of my boots, and they're not supposed to have zippers." And she's like, "I have been fighting that for the last 10 years. Sort of like, who cares if the zipper is in the inside of the shoe? You can't see it in photos. They should allow you into 500 first. That's an amazing costume." She was like an activist about this, sort of like we need to stop being so perfectionist in 500 first, because that's a great costume. A little overwhelming about those rules, but she saw my costume and she thought that it was I should be in 500 first. So anyway, well, I will worry about that when I get back to the States. But the young Thrawn on the right was really, really good. I thought he was very, very good. Yeah, there were many Thrawns. There were many Thrawns. Guardians of the Force on the left. He was from Manchester, maybe. He was from the north of England because I could barely understand his English. And he was next to, and I don't think I put them in a slide. He was next to like four High Republic costumes. Yeah, but they were still being made. There was a girl on the floor embroidering still. And she's like, "I'll be ready in like 5 or 6 hours. Come back around 4:35. I should be ready." And she's like embroidering stuff. She said, "I started in the plane, but I'm not done." Oh yeah. There were lots of High Republic cosplays, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, yeah. They were really quite wonderful. Yeah. And then the Vader on the right with Samurai Vader, he was great. And actually, that picture was taken while Tokyo Television was filming him, and so he was doing all the poses with it. And so I just took advantage of him being in perfect pose, and I took that picture. Yeah. Oh, there were so many wonderful ones, so many wonderful ones. On the left, a wonderful Ewok in a wheelchair, and then a really fun Chewbacca, and then um, another Ewok to the right of another Ewok on the right of Chewbacca, and that was on a after I had lunch. I was sort of coming in back into the convention, and I caught them on the way to the line to go in again. And then on the right, you have an Indian and a I think Hong Kong. They both live in Hong Kong. The One Way Out prison costumes from Mando. Lots of people from Hong Kong. Lots of people from Hong Kong because it's so close. So yeah, it's just a few hours away. The cutest baby Yoda on the left, and the cutest baby Yoda on the right. The parents were like determined that that child was going to be in the photograph, and they kept like putting her to front, and she would walk away, and they would grab her and bring her back in the front and look. They said, "Look at the camera," and like the kid, she would like stare away and walk away. So the dad just like picked her up, put her in front of my camera, and he's like, "Go, take the picture now." A Grogu would definitely do that, totally do that. And so we had to resort to that in order for her to be in the picture. And then the Grogu on the left had a bag full of swag, and so she had little fans saying, "Give me swag," and she was like trading uh, with people. Uh huh. It does have a Muppet feel. I don't know. She didn't speak English. She didn't speak English at all. So I don't know. And I know she was a woman because I saw her without the head costume later. But she didn't speak any English at all. Well, then the jacket that she's wearing is a very Japanese jacket. It had the wave design at the bottom and white. So I'm assuming she was Japanese. The Acolyte. The Acolyte was there was a huge following of the Acolyte at Celebration. And Manny Jacinto was there, and it happened on Sunday, I think. And the whole audience just started screaming, "Season two, season two, season two, season two." Oh, absolutely. But these three were great, and they were all Japanese. There is a Rebel Legion in Japan that's quite large, and they came several times. They did like photo ops in at Celebration, and these were part of the Rebel Legion in Japan. 501st is usually villains, although they're stretching the limits again a little bit. But Rebel Legion sort of does all the Jedi and the Rebel Alliance and the Resistance costumes. Yeah, and so they were part of the. And I mean, like they look like the characters. There was an American couple chatting with me because they were being interviewed by television, and so we were staring at them while they were waiting to be interviewed so we could take pictures of them. And this American couple and the woman was sort of like, "Isn't that the actress? I think that's the actress." And I'm like, "No, no, no. The actress is from Spain. That's a Japanese woman." I think that, and she's like, "I think that's the actress." Not quite, not quite. But they were really good. They were really good. So the picture on the left, that little boy, that little 7-year-old stormtrooper, you can see the baby Yoda on the left. That was the daughter, the sister that just would not stand still. So these were the siblings of the baby Yoda that we saw a few slides ago. Mando, the Mando on the right is using sort of like Thai royalty designs, and those are just beautiful. She was just gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Yes, 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 yes. I thought it was really well done. Really well done. Yes, 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 yes. There's an American Kanan. He said, "I am Kanan on a relaxed day." Um, um, and then there's an older Asajj Ventress on the right, and there were several of those. As in Bad Batch Asajj Ventress. Oh, no, 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 no. And they were. I took. Yes, yes. I took several pictures of different ones. I just put one in the slideshow, but there were very many of them. It was really quite wonderful. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The hair was wonderful. A British man on the right doing a High Republic. He said it's a High Republic generic costume, like he's not trying to be a specific character. He just wanted to. He just loved the High Republic novels, so he cosplayed for that. And then the guy on the left is part of the Japanese 501st Garrison, and he had little cards that he was giving away when you talked to him. His English was limited, but he was very sweet, and we could communicate. And I like the very sort of the pants with the really wide, sort of Nazi inspired. I thought they were really cool. Not because they were Nazi, but because they looked like the first movie. This is not a pro-Nazi podcast. Beautiful amidalas. There were lots of amidalas of every possible costume that you can imagine from the prequel trilogy. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And all of those were around. I just gave you a sample here. The one on the right is a Latina from the West Coast in the US. And the woman on the right was from Japan. And she was there with her parents. So it was like the whole family was there, but she was the only one cosplaying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 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 It's beautiful. It's beautifully done. Look at that. The High Republic on the right. That was I found Japanese versions of High Republic novels with amazing covers. Yes, and she was at the store looking at books with me, and I'm like, I need to take a picture of you because you're my first Orla that I've seen today. And there were several. There were several Orlas in the at the convention. It was really great. And then on the left is a family from Spain, from the northern part of Spain. So I got to speak some Spanish with them. And they were very, very shy until I asked, can I take a picture? And then those kids got into pose. Um, yeah, 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 yeah. And the Hera, I think is really good. It's just really quite wonderful. Yes, the space bombs rule. They really do. And this was in the line to enter the convention. It's really interesting. You put the images that are the beginning of the convention towards the end of the slideshow. I love the cardboard Mandalorian on the left, which is pieces of cardboard to make the costume. And then the Zeb was a Japanese man who I saw many, many times in the convention. And every time he saw me, he was very excited to see me again and would say hello to me again. Because I think I was like the first person that asked him to take a picture. Because we were in line. That was at the beginning, like the convention hadn't even started yet. So that was really fun. Oh, the mask is awesome. He made it. He made mask. Yeah, the jacket is. He made the mask. Yeah, yeah. He made the mask. Yes. Well, he had the blaster in a backpack, and so when I asked him to take a picture, he's like, wait, 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 wait. And he's like looking through the bag, looking through the bag, looking through the bag, and this blaster comes out. Yeah, a bearded Ahsoka. There were many of them, and then a Sith holocron. Like, where have you seen a Sith holocron as a cosplay? Oh, that was delightful. You've seen one before? Oh, okay, okay, okay. No, and she was very excited to pose as a holocron. Yeah, 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 yeah. She was good friends with an Avar Chris, so they were walking around together. Sith holocron and an Avar Chris. I'm sorry, and that's the Avar Chris that is a friend of the Sith holocron. on the right side, and then a season 2 Mandalorian Luke Skywalker, and he was from Japan. Yeah, yeah, agreed, agreed. This is all in the line. Director Krennic on the left, and a Night Sister on the right. She was great. She was lots of fun. Oh, really? Okay, cool. What game is it? I've heard of this character, but I've never seen her. That who she is. Okay. 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 Okay, cool. Cool. Okay. And that is the May the Force be with you sign at the entrance of the train station that takes you to the convention center. Makuhari Messe is the name of the convention center. And you can see on the left the beautiful Japanese inspired Vader with the TIE fighters and Mount Fuji in the back, which was in stickers and cups and t-shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies and all sorts of things. I didn't manage to buy a t-shirt of those at the store because by the time I got to the store, almost everything was sold out. But it's available now on Amazon, and actually cheaper than at Celebration, like half price. I'm not kidding you, half price. So I ordered it, and it will be floating in my house. I won't see it until I get there in June. But I managed to get a copy. I managed to get a copy because by the time I arrived at the store at 6 o'clock, and the store was closing at 7. And so there were lots of empty shelves. And what they do is they set aside an amount of merchandise for Friday, an amount of merchandise for Saturday, an amount of merchandise for Sunday. And so once whatever sold out on Friday, you have to go back the next day if you want it. And I was only there for Friday, so there were certain things I was happy with what I got. I was happy with what I got. But I really wanted to have the logo one because I thought it was a beautiful one. So that's celebration. That is celebration. And so LA is going to be next. I'm glad it's not Anaheim because Anaheim is in the middle of nowhere. At least the LA Convention Center is in a central part of LA that there are things around. And so I'm glad I'm actually okay with LA. I'm actually okay with LA, and I prefer it to Anaheim. I really prefer it to Anaheim. So we should do a Hollywood trip, and we should do a Walk of Fame and say hello to Carrie Fisher and all of that stuff. I mean, that's not where she's buried, but at least her star is there. Oh God, no! All the stars are actually buried under the stars. Of course, 50 years. I know, I know. I'm gonna be 62 years old when that happens. 62 years old. Thank you very much. You're very sweet. You bastard. Oh, okay. Oh, a video game channel? Okay. Okay. It's okay. G4. Okay. 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 Oh yeah, yeah. No, I'm very excited. I'm very excited, and it's going to be 4 days, and it's going to be back to 4 days. So that'll be quite fun. So I need to start scheduling my spring semester of 2027 classes that I will only teach Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I could be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for celebration. Oh goodness. Yeah. Yep. We'll figure it out. No, but it's exciting. It's very exciting. It's very exciting. So well, thank you, Nick. Maybe we can film from there. That would be really great. We'll figure something out. We have 2 years. I have 2 years. We need yeah, we need to hire a cameraman to come with us. All right. And thank you for doing this, Nick, because being in Asia it's a little tricky. The internet is a little not very reliable all the time. So I'm glad this worked. May the force be with you, Nick, and may the force be with everybody.